to do every week, mailbag episode.
And we've got questions surrounding free agency, retirement numbers, what if scenarios on contract stipulations. It's a fun one. Let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. Be sure to check us out on all platforms out there, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and send us an email or voice memo anytime for a future mailbag episode, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Or if you want to wire $1 million, you can do that as well to lockedonrays@gmail.com. That is perfectly acceptable as well. All right, let's get right into these mailbag questions. This first one, all the way from Spain, Joshua Garner. He says, Kevin and Ulises, just catching up on some episodes and the Manny Margot episodes you brought being able to play as a positive for a player. Kevin said not everyone can be Cal Ripken. That brings me to my question. Trea Turner's new contract, I think, is an overpay. I argued that the only shortstop I would pay that much to was Cal Ripken. You know he is going to play. My brother disagreed. What is your opinion? Would you have paid Cal Ripken 11 years and $300 million? And I guess adding a little addendum to this question, would you give Cal Ripken 11 years and $30 million at his age 29, age 30 season?
Right. Well, hey Joshua, it's been a minute. Hope you're doing okay in Spain. This is a tough one because just so you guys know, Ripken was a 9-time All-Star through his age 30 season. Okay, 9-time All-Star, a career 276, 340 on base, 447 slug. That's 788 OPS, 112 OPS plus. And durable. The problem with this question is that we know that he was going to remain a durable guy. So the question is a little bit more difficult because we're like, yeah, I mean, if you know that the guy's going to post, right, then awesome, of course, give him the money. So I can't answer that, but I will say, if you thought those numbers were impressive that I just rattled off by Cal Ripken Jr., as career numbers, Trea Turner beats him in every single facet. And he's 29. So not a 9-time All-Star, just a 2-time All-Star, but the slash line, 302 to 276, better. On base, 355 to 340, better, Trea Turner. 487 slug to 447, better. Obviously, the OPS, 842 to 788, of course, better. OPS plus, 122 to 112. So, I don't know, Joshua. I don't think it's an overpay. I think it's insane that he got 11 years. But I guess this is the economy of free agency that we're witnessing right now. It's just an insane market because in part by the CBA. They know they're going to play ball for the next 5 years. They don't have to worry about a strike, so they know that things are going to happen. So owners are a little bit more willing to part ways with their green Skittles. But I don't think it's too crazy to give a guy that puts up this slash line that amount, that much money. I don't think it's crazy. The length of the contract is what I think is crazy. I don't know if you agree, Kevin.
Especially because we're no longer in the steroid era and we're talking about a shortstop and not a corner infielder or corner outfielder. Are you shocked, though, that Trea Turner got more money than Xander Bogaerts? Total value.
I don't know. Maybe the Don Draper video got me all Trea Turner fanboy, but
Yeah.
man, he's a fun player. I mean, he is.
There's a lot of fun players out there, but does that mean they need to get $300 million over 11 years?
I mean, but this is a guy that could be I mean, he's a 2020 guy. He's going to play fine defensively. There are more defensive wizards out there than Trea Turner, 100%. But I mean, he's going to break, man. In this economy where pitchers are doing whatever the heck they want with hitters, I mean, there's pitching ninja. There's no hitting ninja, okay? Pitching ninja thing. So hitters that can produce like this, they're going to be very, very expensive, man. So just hope Wander Franco can produce like I want to. So then it's a steal.
But I mean, he's coming off an 809 OPS season. Like, that's really good. That's great for a shortstop. But I don't know. I think that. So you're telling me that Trea Turner's numbers through his first 8 years were better than Cal Ripken's numbers through his first 8 years, offensively speaking?
No, sorry, I did the career line. That was the career line that I read off Cal Ripken. It wasn't 3-9.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with Joshua. If we're talking about $300 million, 11 years, you give it to a shortstop that's 29, 30 years old, Cal Ripken might be the only guy. Derek Jeter might be another guy. There's not many of them that I think can hold up and be that durable and productive. In fact, I went and did the math, and so Cal Ripken from age 30 until his career ended, I guess in 2001 at age 40, he compiled a 34 WAR over those 10 years.
Wow.
What's one WAR worth nowadays? About $8.5 million.
So
that's pretty much equitable to what you would get 11 years, $300 million. And even Cal Ripken, it's not like he played 162, 162, 162 over those final 10 years. I mean, there were years where he played 112, 144, 86, 83. So even he broke down as he got into his mid and late 30s. This is really, I mean, these teams that are giving these shortstops and these players in general, these types of contracts, man, they are going to be albatross. I mean, you hope, I mean, I guess the idea is that you better win 1 or 2 rings over the course of the lifetime of these types of deals. But I would think, okay, give a guy 5 years, 175, but 11 years.
You're thinking like Kyle Bloom with Xander Bogaerts. Hey, look, we'll give you 6 for 180, and the player is like, no, dude, they're giving me 10 for 280. I'm not going. No, what? So it's the economy. It's very difficult right now to make smart baseball free agent decisions. So I agree with what you and Josh are saying. Like, that's insane money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying insane long term. Like 11 years. That's insanity to me to give to a
right. No, that's what I'm with you too on that. And like, I mean, the other factor too is Cal Ripken. I mean, there was a lot tied with that. I mean, he was from Havre de Grace, Maryland. Like, he's a Maryland boy through and through, and staying with the team, one team your entire career. That also adds a lot in terms of fan engagement and merchandise, and that has a lot of extraneous value besides what he puts out on the field. But the fact that what did Bryce Harper get? A couple
300, right? Yeah, I think just
330.
Oh, 330. Yeah, but over like 12 years though, right?
Yeah, I think it was 13 years, 330.
That's it.
That's basically not much of a difference between Trea Turner and Bryce Harper in terms of the value. And Bryce Harper is a superstar. Trea Turner, really good player.
This is okay. You're sounding like what I said about Corey Seager when he signed his mega deal last year. Like, I'm like, Corey Seager is Corey Seager worth that much money? Like 300 bills?
I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think so. But I mean,
I'm more on the lines of, and again, I know it hasn't necessarily worked out for the Red Sox at this point, but Trevor Story-esque deals for these types of shortstops. Of 6 years, 140.
But look who we are talking about that is making these deals. Philadelphia Phillies, the Texas Rangers. These are teams that have lacked any sort of momentum for the last 8-10 years in their fandom. They need to do something wild. They need to just get talent in the roster. So that's why they're doing the DeGroms and the Semyons and the Seagers and all that stuff. And that's why the Phillies are doing Bryce Harper and Trea Turner type deals and Schwarber deals. Like, you need that so much, after sucking for so long. So it's not the Dodgers who are doing that. It's not the Red Sox. It's not. Well, I mean, I guess the Yankees just did it with Judge. But it's the Yankees. They live in a whole different world than the rest of MLB.
That's true. All right, we got more mailbag questions to get to, but first we have to tell you about BetOnline.net. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. It's where you can get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer, esports, and more. It is all covered at BetOnline.net. It is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. You should know that. So head over to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. All right, this next question from Tracy Davis. Would you rather have, as a Rays fan, Michael Conforto or Sean Murphy?
Well, Tracy, thank you for writing to us. I think this is a slam dunk for me.
Okay.
It's Sean Murphy day in, day out on a Monday night or a Sunday morning. It doesn't matter. I mean, to have 3 full years of an answer behind the plate that is going to be helpful with the pitching staff, but also can produce somewhat with the bat. And I say somewhat because it's in catcher's terms. His slash line for a career, hold on to your butts, people. 236, 326 on base, 429. That's a 755 OPS, a 114 OPS plus behind the dish. I mean, you can just lick your fingers. That's yummiful if you see that in the lineup. So it's a slam dunk for me. It's Sean Murphy 100%.
Now the question isn't, well, maybe it is, all things being equal, because to get Sean Murphy, you have to trade for Sean Murphy. And to trade for Sean Murphy, that likely means you're going to have to give up one or more of a Taj Bradley, Curtis Mead, in addition to a number of other guys. Whereas Michael Conforto, you would just be spending money to acquire this guy. It's interesting because, again, I think that the Rays are in a fine spot with their catcher position. Can you do better? Absolutely. Christian Bethancourt, I like. Francisco Mejia, I like. You could probably do a little bit more in terms of depth and adding another veteran. I don't necessarily think that they have to go out and get Sean Murphy to put them over to the hump. And I know Michael Conforto missed all of last year with shoulder surgery, but I tend to lick my chops at the potential of what he could provide in a Rays uniform. With Sean Murphy, we pretty much know what we're going to get. It's really good. It's terrific from a catcher point of view, not to mention what he does defensively. But at the end of the day, with Sean Murphy, you're getting what? 15 to 18 home runs, a 240 batting average, 60 RBIs, whereas with Michael Conforto from the left side of the plate, I might add, he's shown this before, that he can give you 27 to 32 home runs. He can drive in 80 to 90. Sean Murphy can't do that.
Okay, put your GM hat on. How much money do you think Comforto is going to get?
So he declined a 1-year, $18.4 million qualifying offer from the Mets to become a free agent. So he's going to want and command more than that. And this market is all effed up. I will add that as well.
Yes.
And there's also the risk of not being in action for a while. At least $50 million. And that's the low point. That's like the low point. So that's another really good point. I'm a little bit torn with this, quite frankly, because we talk about, hey, we need that middle of the order bopper. Michael Conforto can be that. He has shown to be that. Is Sean Murphy a feared hitter in the middle of the order?
No, he's not. But I think he's more feared than Mejia and Bethancourt put together.
Okay.
So it helps you. And also, I guess I took it as like, because my brain operated that way. I also looked at it as like what's more likely to happen. I think a trade's more
that's
likely
fair
to
as well.
happen
Yes.
than sign. So that's why I went Sean Murphy. But I don't know. You say 50 mil makes me think. What is that? 2 year? 3 year?
I would think 3 years. 3 years, 50 mil.
That's not bad. But Jose Abreu just got, what was it? 60 for 3?
So then Michael Conforto would get less.
It would be cheaper.
If Jose Abreu is getting that, then you could almost say give Michael Conforto what you gave Zach Eflin.
Do you think that would get him to walk in the door? I think it'd be 2 years for 40 mil. I think Conforto says, all right, I'll listen. I'm not going to hang up, but because other people are calling me.
Yeah.
Because everybody could do a 2 year 40 mil.
Yes.
Even the Mets could do that. And I don't think they even need another outfielder, maybe they do, but I don't know. I know I just said it's December 13th. And so the Rays not making a move means nothing. There's plenty of time for trade or a free agent signing to happen. So please be patient, people. However,
Michael Conforto, let me just add this. 824 career OPS. He's had a 27 home run season, a 28 home run season, a 33 home run season. He hit 322 in the pandemic season. I like him. I like what he could provide. He's getting the savant metrics are really favorable to him too, offensively and defensively, I may say.
We live in a world where if you pick one thing, everybody thinks you hate the other thing.
Yeah.
It's not the case at all. Just because I picked Murphy does not mean I don't like Comforto. However, if you're a Rays fan, and I want to see your comments on our YouTube channel, what would you offer Comforto that he would say yes to? Because you threw money at Freddie Freeman, apparently the largest offer that he received, and he said, nah, thanks, fam.
Yeah.
Because we know it. I know we don't like to talk about it, but the attendance is a thing. I mean, if you are a stud and you're in free agency, are you going to really sign? Not are you really going to sign, but is your first priority going to be signing with a team that gets the second or third lowest attendance of MLB? Like, that's important. You like people. If you're in that high caliber in your industry, you like to be looked at. You like to be cheered. You like to have that, relationship with the fans. You like people clapping for you. If you're really good, that's going to happen more often than not.
Absolutely.
So that's also going to be a thing for free agents. And also the stadium situation. It's not the prettiest. I mean, it's the prettiest warehouse where MLB baseball is played, but that doesn't mean it's a beautiful park. And that also matters. So ultimately, what are we, offering as, the Rays front office? What are they offering that he would say yes to? Write it down in the comments. We want to read you. But I don't think 2 years, 40 mil gets Comforto walking in the door.
Really? What's interesting, and again, this is
too short.
This is before all the guys getting 360 million, I mean, just money is being thrown around. I guess inflation days, you got to pay guys more. But Michael Conforto, based on a Fangraphs, what they do is they do kind of a crowdsourcing. The average crowdsource figures that he hit 20 million over, I mean, basically 2 years.
You said 20?
20 over 2. So 10 per season. I think that's too low.
What? 10 per season? That's low. No. And all of those Fangraphs crowdsources, I think it was either Eno Saris or somebody else who put it out on Twitter, that the majority, 65 to 70% of all the free agents that have signed have gone over that crowdsource number. And they're saying 10-year per season for Comforto?
Yeah.
David Robertson just got 10-year per. And he didn't even have an agent. He signed himself. He represented himself. Good for you, D-Rob. I think that's too low. That's too low. Like, no way.
Question.
50 for 3? That's 66. That's 16.6 per year. That's something manageable. I can believe that. 2 years is too little for a guy like Comforto coming off from injury. He wants to have a little bit of security. I don't think 2 years gets it done.
Will the Rays wind up with either Conforto or Sean Murphy by the time this offseason is done?
God, people are going to hate me, but No.
All right, let's move on to the final mailbag question of the day. This from Ty McCann. He says, 2-part question. Do the Rays retire Fred McGriff's number 29 now that he's in the Hall? I think he goes in wearing a Braves cap, but what percent do you give that he wears a Devil Rays cap?
Good question, Ty.
So the first one is, will the Rays retire his number 29?
I don't think they're going to do that.
Should they?
He
is a Tampa native.
He's Tampa native, I think 3 seasons.
I mean, he played
let me look it up. I want to be right.
No, he played like 5 seasons with the Rays or
Not
Devil
3?
Rays. He played 636 games with the Braves, 578 games with the Blue Jays, and 577 with the Devil Rays. So it's not like it was his swan song. I mean, it was his swan song in a way, but he had the 2 stints with the Devil Rays. Look, I think if Wade Boggs only had to play 2 seasons to have his number retired, I think Fred McGriff absolutely deserves to have his number retired too.
And
in addition to Jackie Robinson and Don Zimmer.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the Tampa Bay years. Like, it is the same amount of years as the Braves and the Toronto Blue Jays. It's not the same, games like you said, but it's, man, the numbers are, he might have hit, he hit really well with the Rays. 291, 380, 484, a 122 OPS plus. Again, not the best years if you compare it with Atlanta and Toronto. I think Atlanta gets the edge.
Did Wade Boggs have his best years with the Devil Rays?
No, you know what? I'm gonna go with yes. Yeah. Fred McGriff should get. And the Tampa thing is too big to not give the guy.
I mean, if the Tampa Bay Times has written article after article about why isn't Fred McGriff in the Hall of Fame? Will he ever get in the Hall of Fame? Now that he's in the Hall of Fame, they've done multiple in-depth features. He's getting that number retired. He has to get that number retired. And
it's not like anybody that's like franchise changing is wearing number 29. Currently, it's Pete Fairbanks. I know Pete Fairbanks has like a really crazy section of Rays fans that are like, don't say anything about Pete Fairbanks. But again, Pete Fairbanks is not Fred McGriff, you people. So, I would think Pete Fairbanks would need to get a different number if they do that. Because
you know what? I think that should be the rule. If you're a Hall of Famer and you play at least 2, maybe 3 seasons in a Devil Rays or Rays uniform, and you didn't do steroids, you should be in the Hall of Fame, or you should have your number retired by the Rays or the Devil Rays. Wade Boggs. It's like the Wade Boggs rule. We can go ahead and implement that.
I
Fred
think
McGriff passes that with flying colors.
100. Once you said Wade Boggs, you convinced me 100%. I mean, if Wade Boggs has it, his also has that Tampa feel too. So no,
Right.
I think Fred McGriff should definitely get his number retired. Now, on the percentage of chance that he does go with a Tampa Bay Devil Rays hat, I don't see that. Just because. Okay, quick question. Has anybody gone in with a hat that is no longer representative of that franchise in present time? Did that question make sense?
Like somebody going in as a Philadelphia Athletics,
But it's now the Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah, exactly. Like he played for the Devil Rays. So if he were to pick a Devil Rays hat, has that ever happened where that team does no longer exist and it's the Rays?
No. Well, honestly, I don't know if I put much or any stock in that. I put more stock into his best years were with the Braves, and the Devil Rays were god awful. And probably even though,
he's going in with the Braves hat, but I just want to have a little bit of fun here.
Okay. I'm not sure about that.
I don't think that has ever happened. I mean, I'm trying to think of other teams that, like the Houston Astros, the Colts that were named before. So could you have a Colts hat and then the Astros, being the name? I don't know.
So it would be he would be wearing I think it would be the Devil Rays because that's who he played for.
And I think that would be the first time that a player goes in with a hat that is no longer representative of that franchise. It would be very cool.
Yeah, that might have to be a trivia question. That would be interesting. But again, I think his best memories and best moments were in a Braves uniform where he hit the most homers. He had his best individual season. He won a World Series there, whereas I don't know if the Rays ever or the Devil Rays ever eclipsed, 70 wins, 72 wins when he was playing for that franchise. So, I think the percentage is greatest on going in with the Braves. But interesting point that you bring up there. Again, maybe if he's considering it, maybe they need to start ordering or back ordering those products now. Start making it. There's a lead time issue. We can't get the supplies in time, so you better kind of get that work out of the way.
I have a better scenario. The Washington Nationals. Their first season was 2005.
So Expos.
Exactly. So what if you were a Montreal Expos tremendous player? You're going to Hall of Fame. Your best years with the Expos. But the Hall of Fame calls you in 2012. You're going to get inducted in 2012.
Yeah.
You're going with an Expos hat. That would be an odd thing because that franchise is no longer the thing. I don't know I don't know if I'm explaining myself. No,
I get what you're saying. I don't know if people
care about that. Yeah, probably not.
Honestly.
Fair,
but yeah,
fair enough.
I was trying to Google it quickly because I would, I don't know.
I think it would be cool if he were with a Devil's Race hat and it's no longer a thing. I think that would be cool. There, yeah. I'll leave it at that.
What I think would be really cool is if somebody enters the Hall of Fame after spending the bulk of their years with the Rays and they go in as with a Rays hat, if you will.
Longo. Let's go Longo.
I thought you were going to go with Let's Go Wander. Because Longo's not going to the Hall of Fame.
You don't think so? After Scott Rowland just is showing up everybody up. I don't know. If Scott Rowland can make it, Longo can too.
I don't know. That might have to be a discussion for another day. I still think he has quite a bit of work to do. All right. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen. Now make your next listen the Locked On Sports Today podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.